Hey everyone, we're here with another video, and today we are talking about the Elite Direto. And if you're not familiar with this, I wouldn't know why you would click this video. But this is a smart trainer and it's having an issue, and Elite, the team, sent me on a mission to fix it myself because I guess that's their solution. So what we have to do is take this apart. So there's 11 screws on this side, and I believe 6 or 7 screws on the other side, so a total of 18 screws. And then got to get to this middle portion of this and take it out, weld it together. 2 parts we have to weld, and they tell you to put Loctite on it, but I'm in there anyways. I might as well just make sure that it stays together. But there's some issues with this thing making some noises, and it's mainly because there are 2 parts. There's a lip portion of it, and there's a screw that goes on top of it, or a bolt that goes on top of it, and that's what spins the belt to spin this. And what we want to do is to make sure that those pieces are sticking together and not coming out. So with that said, I'm going to time lapse it through each part, and I'll try to tell you what tools you need along the way. So to weld this thing together, I'm using JB Weld. This is high heat. It's at 550 degrees Fahrenheit, which is an epoxy, and hoping for that 4,730 PSI of strength. It mentions that it's great for different things like engine blocks, mufflers, tailpipes, radiators, so I think it'll do this job pretty well. And instead of using Loctite, which they want you to use a 660 version of the Loctite, so we're just going to use JB Weld, which should be more durable and it should stay longer. So I've had this thing for maybe 2.5 years now, and we're already having problems with it. So I think I took it out and cleaned it out before, so I've done this before. So one thing to note is that these screws are in pretty tight, so make sure you have the right screwdriver. You don't want to strip these, so that's one thing to note. And then when we get inside here, we'll mention, I believe it's 17mm sockets that you'll need for both sides. And those are pretty tight too, so you need to make sure that you have the right tools. I have a huge set of tools right here, so I'll show you along the way, and I'll just mention what I'm using. So this gets you into the spots where we can see this. So essentially what we're looking at here is a fan, and this is the wheel here that drives, and there's magnets here that put the resistance on, and this is the belt that drives the entire thing here. And that's connected to a little wheel here, and then this is the part here, this nice metal part here that this belt is around that we want to get to. And we want to weld that so that this puppy stays in place and it doesn't make any of the noises and it doesn't misalign the belt. So we have to take off this side of it so that we can get access to this side, and then we have to get this puppy off here, and yeah, then we should have access. Okay, so we're gonna want to take off this panel too, and there's a screw here, here, and those are the major screws. There isn't one in this one here. And then you have these 4 little screws, so 6 total here. And for this, I'm going to use my slightly smaller screwdriver for this, so I don't strip these. These are also going to be important to not strip as well. This screw is actually an extra one that you don't see. It's covered by the panel that I just took off. So that would be the last one. Oh no, sorry. There are 2 extra ones underneath here. So that'll bring your screw total up to 8 on this side, I believe. And this is a 3-star star here. So that's the one that I'm using for this. Because oh, there's another one. Hello, you. On the other side, there are 2 of these bolts like this that are flat. Just make sure you remember which ones they go into. The first thing that we're gonna wanna do here, and we can do either or. So right here, there are some bolts here that need to be taken out with hexes, and that will loosen this drive up. And what we actually want to do here is to remove the belt, because right now the belt is tight and you're not going to be able to remove it, and you don't want to force it out either. Also, you don't want to push it off track either, but this thing is going to loosen this and then the belt will be loose. Yeah, this one's a 5mm. So probably not going to use this one, but I'm going to use something to attach it to it. But yeah, so we're going to take these 2 off. Or actually, I might just loosen this one. Once that moves up and down, then we can take this belt off. And then after that, we're gonna take the wheel off, which we will need a couple things. Okay, for this one, we are using I believe this is a 1/4, and we're going into a extension that goes into an 1/8, and then we're using the 1/8 to go into a 5mm so that we can get this out pretty easy. All right, there we go. Nice and loose now. So now we'll go to this. Okay, for this we're using our little star 3. That'll go into here. And then we are using our 17 with our 1/2 inch right here on this side to loosen this. There you go. All right, that's off. So now we're on this part. You can technically take the belt off. Here is where our main issue is. So this is pretty tight right now, so it doesn't look like it's going anywhere at the moment, but the more and more use that this takes, the more and more of a beating this will be, and especially when you keep torquing it, when you pedal really hard and sprint, that'll get this a bit looser. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna JB weld this to the bolt here. So we're gonna get this off first. We're gonna use 2 17mm here so we can get these off. All right, now we've got 2 17s on here. And make sure I'm turning the right way. Okay, and then this will come off. So that's the problem, basically, is that this can come off. And also, there's a lip right here, which can come off too. So what we're gonna wanna do here is put some JB Weld on here, stick that in here, make sure that it stays, and then put some JB Weld on here, and then make sure that this stays. Clean repair area of dirt, grease, oil, paint, rust, etc. And then it says mix after removing the replaceable cap. Press down on the plunger and squeeze equal amounts onto a disposable surface and mix thoroughly. And then apply with appropriate tool in an even coat. And then it says it'll take 1 hour to set and 24 hours to cure. And then you can heat it up to make it cure faster. Roughly, you can make it cure in an hour if you heat it up to 250 degrees. So if you have a heat gun and you want it to cool a little bit quicker, then you can do that. Okay, so I just cleaned these little things up, and I'm just gonna use this plastic thing that came with that the packaging was in, and I'm just gonna use this to apply this because this seems pretty easy. So it wants you to get all the oil, grease, and anything off of these things, and yeah, so we're gonna do that, and then make sure you clean off this thing as well, because you don't want that on here. And we don't really need much, so I'll just spray on a little bit here. Like I said, don't really need a ton of this, so if you can buy a smaller batch, then I'd recommend buying a smaller batch. I don't even know how long I'm supposed to mix it. Doesn't look like it says. Alright, so we're gonna start off by putting it on this little tab thing. So I'll go ahead and do that nice and carefully. I'll be careful with my fingers here. Try my best not to get any of my hands. Ooh, it's falling out of my hand. Okay. And start pasting on the inside. Should be a nice even layer, so try to spread it out as evenly as possible. Elite posts this video unlisted, which is odd, so I might be able to provide the link to you so you can see what they do. And they specifically use Loctite 660, so you just spray a little bit on there. And I saw somebody JB weld this using epoxy, and I thought, why the heck not? If we're gonna come up with a solution, we might as well come up with a permanent solution, right? And then you want to make sure you put this in the right way that you had it before. So, ooh, got some access on there too. I'm gonna wipe that down. Don't want it to get on the top where the belt is, so you need to be very careful about that. I'm not too worried about getting it on the screw because they do put Loctite on the screw as well, so as in the bolt that goes on here, so not that bad of an idea to have that, but don't want that too tight because you still want access to this just in case. So, wiped off a good part of that. And this is where I'm just going to close the video. This is how you fix that noise that you're hearing. And other troubleshooting things are the belt as well. So this could have come loose as well. So those are other things that this could have been the issue. So, okay, so we have put everything back together, and what I would say is that a good thing to do is to wait until this cures completely, so 24 hours from now, and then give this thing a go and see if your problem still persists. So the other thing is that I would say if you're taking this all apart, one thing that you're probably not going to want to do is put it all back together and then take it apart to resolve the issue. So what I would suggest is that if you're going to test it out, put your bike on the trainer with all the plastic pieces off of it, because those aren't essential for it to move around or anything like that. Those are just really to cover it and protect you from putting your finger through here or piercing that or something like that, or messing with the electronics on the motherboard or something like that. So yeah, with that said, I think because I resolved my issue by taking this apart and greasing everything up and making sure everything was good, that this should solve your issue. Let me know in the comments what you think, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.